Hello, everybody. I'm Tom LeBlanc. I'm the Director of Industry Outreach for NSCA. Today, I'm very happy to be joined by Tony Price, President and CEO of Roland Corporation. Hey, Tony.
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing great. So we're really happy that Roland could come on board and sponsor a 2020 Pivot to Profit and help us to lead some of the conversations that we're having with NSCA members about issues around business transformation. There's so many big issues to talk about in 2020. So you're going to help me talk about that a little bit today, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Tony, one of the things is that right now integration companies they're going through so many, significant transitions, and so are their customers, right? So the thing with integrators is now they got to figure out, what are the new business challenges that customers have as a result of this new reality? And then, of course, how can those challenges be addressed through integrated technologies? So I guess my first question to you is, what are some examples of those new challenges that integration companies or integration customers are facing as a
Sure.
result of this new reality?
Well, it's really obvious what's happening with the pandemic is where we used to have gathering spaces and corporate offices filled with people and training centers and that sort of thing. We don't have that anymore. It's either, depending on which state or city you're in, it's either no capacity or no occupancy or some limited amount. So the challenge is, how do you keep your constituents engaged while this is happening, and then ongoing? So, we look at it sort of as primarily we're looking at in the building processes when things are normal, but under pandemic circumstances, you have to assess the event itself or the meetings, et cetera, and how you're going to keep your students or your congregation or your staff engaged. And that could mean a portion of in building. It could mean sort of a hybrid approach of maybe there's some people inside the building and some people that you're reaching remotely, or it could be completely an online experience, and that's all outside the building, and that's not something we've had to deal with before.
Yeah, it's so different. And then I guess the flip side is, how can some of these challenges be addressed through integrated technology solutions? Because that's what these guys do.
Yeah, and you've seen, like, for example, churches. It's a lot of churches have had streaming. We make video switchers and streaming devices, and that's been part of a lot of what a lot of churches will do and a lot of integrators will participate in. But we've seen a tremendous rise in demand of this kind of product, obviously now for the reasons I stated earlier. So I think if I was an integrator still, I would want to look at those technologies and how to solve or bridge that gap to the constituents that, like I said, the church or the business or training centers or sporting facilities are trying to do, so that I could reach and keep engaged those people. There are ways to stream now. We're doing it right now, and they're pretty good, but they're sort of two-dimensional. And I think when the stream is your engagement, it's not an ancillary part of your engagement. You have to look at the production quality in terms of multiple camera sources and other content bringing in and titles and things like that, audio quality. You have to up the ante, I think, on the production quality so that you keep the congregation coming back every Sunday, because they're not physically coming back. You keep the students engaged and you're teaching them and you're more effectively communicating. So I think that's the key part, is how do you bridge this from inside to outside the building, or some hybrid. As a decision maker, you have to decide what is the format that we're using, inside, outside, hybrid event. I think that's really important for integrators to figure out for their customers.
I think these are great points, and we can continue some of these conversations at Pivot to Profit Virtual, and also the Pivot to Profit series content that we're putting out there to try to keep these business transformation business transformation conversations going throughout the year.
Yeah,
and we really appreciate Roland and you, Tony, helping us to kind of lead these conversations.
absolutely. And I know there's going to be more discussion at the Beer and Bowl session, so looking forward to that.
Absolutely. I hope people check that out and register for Pivot to Profit. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.